Welcome to the new and improved version of our GovHack project, Papyrus, which Denny Chappers and myself, Rebecca Merritt, built. Papyrus is a text summarization tool used to detect key facts and figures buried in large government transcripts such as Senate estimates and government speeches. It can also detect human mistakes or corrected statements, as well as summarize discussion-led transcripts. Since GovHack, we have built a document classifier, integrated the front end, and improved the text parser to clean and format text from PDFs and web pages. We started out on this journey by testing quite a few different freely available online summary tools, and we came across many problems with these tools. Tools that came the closest to what we were trying to achieve were Resumer and GenSim, but they often produced summaries that missed important context, included mundane chit-chat, excluded speaker attribution, and produced longer summaries compared to Papyrus. While these tools are good in their own right, they don't effectively summarize large transcripts, which hold a lot of valuable information that is buried underneath a lot of noise. So if we feed the same document into Resumer and GenSim and compare with Papyrus, we can notice some problems. Firstly, Resumer and GenSim wouldn't process a large Senate estimate for me. It doesn't seem to want to output a summary for me in a large amount of text. Papyrus can summarize the entire legal Senate estimate document, but for the purpose of demonstration and to ensure we're comparing like for like, we're just going to compare a proportion of a legal Senate estimate across all these tools. So one main issue with Resumer's summary that kind of sticks out to me is down here. So this paragraph where it says, that compares with our current rent of 1.933 billion, so the project will save approximately 188 million in rent over the life of the project. This is lacking context. We don't know what this rent or figure is comparing to, what exactly is the project, how long is the life of the project, and who is giving this information. Another obvious problem is further down here, where it says, I've sent them away because I've told them that everyone has 15 minutes, so if Senator McKim comes back in an hour and a quarter or an hour, it will be his time. This is mundane chit-chat that we really don't want to waste our time reading in the summary. Also, it seems to have replaced an unrelated sentence in the same paragraph. If we look at the original document in that paragraph, we can see this sentence has kind of been taken out of context. If we look at Papyrus' summary, so we can see context has been given to the key sentence, or the surrounding sentences give context. It shows it's a building project, the life of the project, the speaker, and what that figure is comparing to. Also, overall, the information is much more relevant and doesn't include, mundane chit-chats about taking 15-minute breaks and the like. If we look at GenSim's summary, we can see that's a little bit better. So we have, at least we have speaker attribution here. It seems to have captured some important key facts and figures. However, there is still problems around mundane chit-chat. We see a lot of information here around following proper internal processes. And there is this issue here of, taking 15 minutes, which I wouldn't really consider highly valuable information to put in the summary. Also, GenSim's summary is quite long compared to Papyrus's. It's about 67 lines long. Whereas Papyrus's summary is 23 lines long, or half that if you don't take into account double new lines. So what kind of information can you expect to get out of Papyrus summary? Here's an example of a paragraph in a Papyrus summary taken from a large Senate estimate from the Office on the Environment, which is what I would consider highly valuable information. It gives future project plans, future budgeting for this project. It breaks down all the budgeting for this and includes speaker attribution. Out of the thousands and thousands of paragraphs in this document, I would probably consider this one and others like it valuable for summarizing the important facts and figure. And this reduces the text from originally it was 4,279 lines down to 303 lines, which is well and truly under 10%. Another example of what you can expect out of a Papyrus summary. It's kind of interesting information here. It kind of captures strong statements around how we have reached record level federal funding in schools. But then it also kind of captures important points mentioned up here, where we find out that one school in particular is possibly being overfunded, and Senator Jacinta Collins kind of questioning whether that's really fair or not. And this reduces the text down from 5,917 lines to 475 lines. Another example is this PM speech here. From the Papyrus summary, we can gather some really important information, from job investments to infrastructure investments to a free trade agreement, to the leaders of the world all unanimously agreeing at the G20 meeting that they want to give further corporate tax cuts now and into the coming years. And this reduces the text from 165 lines down to 11 lines, so it's quite a reduction. Another advantage of Papyrus is it picks up on corrected statements, such as this one, where it says, "I might make a minor correction. There is a 1.456 million allocation. The briefing that we provided to the minister was incorrect." Another example in this document, or in this summary, I should say. It's further up here, where somebody just wants to clarify a point, or mention that something's factually incorrect. Sometimes, humans make mistake. We say the incorrect figure, but that's okay. Papyrus will basically be able to do some basic fact-checking for you, which is good. So now that I've explained what we managed to achieve during a 46-hour window at GovHack at the end of July 2017, what have we done since then? One of the main things we did was build a document classifier to treat a document that the user uploads accordingly. This is for the purpose of feeding the text the appropriate summarization algorithm. So, for example, a transcript that contains budgeting information for mental health issues is not the same as people discussing their experience with mental health issues, even though it's kind of on the same topic. A government speech on a cultural celebration should probably be summarized differently to a speech on a budget announcement. So our classifier will detect if the text is more discussion-led or if it's a facts and figure type document, and then apply the appropriate algorithm for getting the best out of that text. So here's an example. Here's an example of past Prime Minister John Howard and others discussing the issue of guns in Australia on SBS TV show Insight, which often discusses national issues. As you can see, Papyrus has classified the document correctly, in that it's not so much focusing on the figures, but more so on the topics and opinions on those topics. So, for example, John Howard discusses how he strongly feels his decision to introduce gun laws in Australia was the right one to keep people safe, whereas a member from New South Wales Shooters and Fishers gives another perspective on this. And this reduces the text from 453 lines down to 45 lines. Another example is a PM speech on the 25th anniversary of the Mabo decision and also the referendum. Here we can see this document did contain some important figures, but it's not the crux of the document, as it's obviously on Eddie Mabo's contribution, and also celebrates highly regarded people throughout Aboriginal Australian history. Interestingly, we found part of speech tags to be very useful when classifying many different documents across different disciplines, speakers, and topics. So that was a good learning curve there. Adding a front end also greatly improved Papyrus. Part of this is cleaning and formatting the text from the user's uploaded PDF or URL. Many freely available online summary tools require the user to provide clean formatted text, and extracting this from PDF can be quite challenging, so Papyrus takes care of this for the end user. Of course, we still have a long way to go in improving this tool, but we hope the progress we have made so far will prove to be useful for people to start getting their hands on it and hopefully find it helpful in digesting some of the most difficult docs. Thanks for watching.